Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the fifth meeting for the Northwest Area Boundary Study. Just want to make a few housekeeping items as we begin tonight. First, please take a moment to sign in if you haven't already. Pink sheets for the general public, green sheets for the committee members. Also note the exits here out the main doors here. There's bathrooms just to the right. And please do not proceed to other areas of the school. A note about materials, we have the maps on the back table there for in the observers that are here, as well as all materials can be found on the BCPS.org. Follow the resource button at the bottom of the page and follow the Northwest Area Boundary Study link. Our survey ran from November 8th to December 3rd. The results are posted and the committee will review those tonight. Comments are also posted and committee members have received regular reminders to review public comments. If the committee votes on a recommendation tonight, public comments will close. If the committee needs additional time to vote, comments will run to the following meeting on December 13th. An additional opportunity for spoken comment will be available at the board hearing scheduled for February 21, 2024 at Pikes Hill High School. I don't know if our translator's here. Just a note about microphones and observers. We remind committee members to please raise your hand to be recognized for speaking and the importance of walking to a microphone so your comments can be heard for the live stream. And then finally, for the observers, thank you so much for joining us tonight. But we ask that you please respect the committee's workspace and not engage with the committee during tonight's meeting. And just since I have the microphone, just thank you all committee. It's been a long few months, a lot of night meetings. Thank you all for answering my emails, my phone calls, and showing up. Your work is appreciated. And with that, I'll turn it over to James Cooper from Cropper GIS.
Thank you, Mike. And again, thank you, committee members, for joining us here tonight. Hope you guys all had a good Thanksgiving break. Good to see you guys here tonight on this important process. You've worked hard over the last 3 months. And we're getting down to the end here. So just looking at our agenda here tonight, we want to review some of the survey results. Got a short presentation per usual, kind of go over a little bit of statistics from the survey results from the previous public information session, kind of go over some public feedback. We'll have you guys break into your small working groups to again evaluate options A through D. Those are the same options that were presented at the public information session. And want you guys to evaluate those options as well as look at some of the survey result feedback to kind of help inform your decision. As our goal tonight is to nominate options to be considered for recommendation and then to vote on an option to recommend to the board for approval. So just looking here, quick glance at our timeline. Started there in September, and here we are at December 6th. We had our public information session on November 8th at this location. It went well for myself, and I hope it went well for you as committee members. The survey closed there on Monday of this week, and we have those results that we emailed to you, and you should have them in your packets here tonight as well. So tonight is intended to be our final meeting as a committee. If we do feel the need to come back a following week, if any new options are to be developed, then a meeting on December 13th, next Wednesday, will be needed. But our goal here tonight is to evaluate the survey results and nominate options and then recommend one single option to the school board for approval. So just a quick glance, a quick reminder on why we are conducting a boundary study for the Northwest area. There are 4 capital projects planned at the elementary schools in this region. These capital projects will add over 1,200 seats to help to the region to help reduce overcrowding and allow program relocations to take place. So the schools involved for the capital projects include Bedford, Summit Park Elementary, Deer Park Elementary, and Scotts Branch. There's also some program relocations from Cantfield Early Learning Center, where they are looking to return all kindergarten and preschool programs back to their home schools by fall of 2026. So here are the schools that are involved in this study area. There are 5 participating schools and then also 2 project schools. The 2 project schools are Bedford Elementary, located in this region here, and then Summit Park, located in the east. And then we're also looking to eliminate satellite boundaries that currently exist for Wellwood, as well as Millbrook Elementary School. So our objective here is to provide capacity relief to the Northwest Elementary Schools, looking to return Bedford Elementary and Millbrook Elementary kindergarten students that are currently attending Canfield back to their home schools. There are also some returning early childhood 3- and 4-year-old programs that are Canfield back to their home schools as well. We're looking to eliminate the satellite boundaries that exist in this region for Millbrook Elementary School and Wellwood. Satellite boundaries are just an area that is districted to a school that is not contiguous to the main zone. And then we're also looking to improve transportation efficiency. So just be mindful of the primary considerations as you work in your small groups. Always want to revert back to these primary and secondary considerations that were approved by the board, Rule 1280, and they are efficient use of capacity in the affected schools. So want to provide balance throughout all the schools within the study area, and then maintaining or increasing the diversity among the schools to reflect the diversity of the region and the school system. A few of the secondary considerations and rules to follow as you evaluate these options are to look at maintaining the continuity in neighborhoods, so trying not to split down residential streets and keep subdivisions all zoned to one school together. Looking at the impact of transportation and pedestrian patterns on students, so being mindful of students that may be in walk zones and try not to move them outside of a walk zone where they now will have to be on a bus to another school. Looking at minimizing the number of times any individual students are reassigned, so just being mindful of past boundary studies and future boundary studies that may be occurring in this region. Being mindful of long-term enrollment and capacity trends and future capital plans. So we have 2 capital plans in this region as well, and then also being mindful of any developments that may be going on in the region for these schools. Being mindful of the location of feeder school boundaries and continuity of feeder patterns. So the migration of students from elementary to middle school and trying to feed all students in the elementary school to one middle school, and if you are needed to split an elementary school to multiple middle schools, try to make that split balance so that kids are migrating to the next level with some familiar faces. And some additional considerations are use of geographic features such as railroads, creeks, and major highways as good natural dividing lines, and elimination of satellite boundaries. So we had our public information session that was on November 8th, and that was held to give the public an idea, a good understanding of the process that you as a committee have been conducting and the options that you are considering to move forward with at the time. A survey also went public went public from November 8th up until November 4th as well. And overall, that survey brought in 297 total respondents participated in the online survey. There were also public comments that were submitted as well that should also be in your packet for you to evaluate and kind of help influence some of your decision making tonight. Want to remember to utilize this feedback as an additional tool as you consider a recommendation. The survey shouldn't be the only sole information that you use to make your decision, but it should help guide you and help influence your decision making. Again, you want to stay in line and in tune with the overall objectives of this study, as well as the primary and secondary considerations. So just looking at some of the survey results here, we kind of tallied up some of the percentages of survey respondents that were strongly in favor or somewhat in favor. And option A had the most at 50% of the respondents were either strongly or somewhat in favor of option A. Option B was very close as well, as 47% of the respondents were strongly in favor or somewhat in favor of option B. Do you want to go to the mic? We have a question here.
I don't want to assume, but I want to make sure that anyone who responded to the survey had to choose one and could not select multiple, like strongly agree for more than one option. I just want to get clarification.
Yes, it is under my understanding that as a respondent to the survey, you could say that you were strongly in favor of multiple options. It gave you that option to choose because it asks you the same questions for option A, B, C, and D. So say if there were 2 options that you were strongly in favor was, as the survey responded, you were allowed to choose that as well. Looking at some of the primary reasons for supporting an option, the primary reasons, they gave a list for the respondents to choose from, and these were the two main variables that most of the respondents that chose strongly in favor of an option or somewhat in favor of an option was it maintains or improves transportation and walking patterns for students, and then also maintains neighborhood continuity. In this table here that you have in your packet, it just breaks that down to show you the options that a survey respondent could choose from. And then the percentage, the number of respondents that chose A and why they were strongly in favor of addressing overcrowding, that was 5.4%. So as you look at this table, it gives you a good understanding of the percentage of respondents and the number of respondents that chose a particular variable on why they favored an option. There was also the primary concern of those who opposed or were somewhat disliked an option. And the primary reasons for a respondent choosing to dislike an option was it divides existing neighborhoods or disrupts schools' feeder patterns. And this table here highlights the number of respondents for each option and the percentage that chose a particular variable on why they may have disliked a particular option. So as you get in your small working group, you can definitely dive a little deeper into this table as you speak with some of your fellow committee members to kind of get a good understanding of why maybe an option wasn't favored by the general public. So we do have the same 4 draft options here tonight, options A, B, C, and D. Those are the same options that we brought forth at the public information session. We have that updated on croppermap.com/BCPS-NWES 2023, where those options are still on that interactive web map for you to view as a committee and the general public. Copies of all these handouts are also on the Boundary Study webpage at bcps.org under the Resources tab. And our focus here tonight is trying to narrow down to the one option that best aligns with the primary and secondary considerations. So we do have options A through D. They have not been modified since the public information session. We'll have the committee discuss their survey feedback. We'll have you break into your small working groups, go over the feedback with one another. Go and review the maps that are presented in front of you. We'll reconvene here in about 30 minutes. So you can share your thoughts and some of the conversations that you had with your committee members. We'll also have the opportunity at that point once we reconvene, the committee will then nominate any current option or any previously published option. If in your small working groups that there's an option that you are proposing that is new, it's a new configuration that we have not explored, it will require for us to have an additional meeting next Wednesday. So as you work in your small working groups, your goal is to try to select one of these options that are presented here tonight, options A through D, or any of the previous published options. But if you really do feel the need to develop a new option, we are going to require that to have an additional meeting next Wednesday, which our intention here tonight is to vote and get you guys off for the holidays. But if you feel that another option needs to be explored, then an additional meeting will be required next Wednesday. So at this time, we'll have you guys break into your, yes, you got a question? Yeah, by all means.
Hi, for those of you that do not remember me, I am Susan Schaefer, and I am a teacher at Summit Park. I've also, don't anymore, but I did live in the old Summit Park neighborhood, and my children went to Summit Park. So Summit Park is deep in my heart, deep in my family's hearts, and I have to say, I wasn't really surprised when I read the survey results. I was a bit embarrassed, being a white Jewish woman myself, and I was also enraged. Reading those comments, I heard a lot of, what about our property value? What about our money? Why is this happening in our neighborhood? Our children are being punished. And what that message sends to the people that are coming to our school is we don't want you. And that's not true. The teachers at Summit Park, we want you. When every year a good teacher doesn't pull out the same lesson plans they had year after year, because every year your class is different. Whether they're all white, whether they're all brown, whether they're all purple, people are different. Children are different. So the hardest thing to do as a teacher in the beginning of the year is to plan appropriately the first week of school because you don't know your children. And you have to know your children to plan appropriately. So whether they are from the original Summit Park neighborhood, whether they're from miles away, we as teachers still have to go learn our children and need to know what their needs are so that we can meet their needs and help them. I wouldn't want anyone to think that they are not wanted because of the color of their skin, because of the financial situation their family's in, because of what they believe. It really is disheartening to me. And I've known that that's how a lot of the world is. It's very obvious of what's happened in the last 5 to 10 years. But like to see it written is really heartbreaking to me, very heartbreaking to me. We're not talking about numbers. We're talking about children. Some people are saying, you're ruining our community. We have this nice little community. Well, hello, the school is built. The school was built, people planned it for years, the school is there, the school is beautiful, the school is huge. The school is ready. We're ready. We're ready to meet new people, meet new teachers. People are worried we're going to be overcrowded. No, we've already told you. We get the number of teachers based on the number of students. They're not going to send all these children and expect the same people that are there this year to teach the same number of children that we're going to have next year. That's going to change. If the kids have more needs, we get more services. Our school is a strong school. We have teachers that want to be there. We have teachers that care about the children. Somebody wrote that we're burdened by the behavior. We're not burdened by the behavior. We have behaviors like every school has. They're children, they're people. They have issues. We all have issues. We all need to learn to get along with each other. That's part of our job. That's what we do. Summit Park's not suffering. We can handle more. And I just hope that when you talk about these options, you understand the school is there. We cannot do anything about that. The school is built, it's ready, it's beautiful. Yes, we're right next to Wellwood. Would it be nice if we weren't so that we could pull from other people more evenly, so that we could pull, if the school was in the middle of all of our schools, then it could be evenly distributed? But we're talking about children. We're talking about who has the room to service these children. We're all Baltimore County. We're all going to follow what the county wants us to in the best way we can for our children. So please, when you're looking at these options, know the school is there. We're going to fill the school. A lot of people at Summit Park know we're getting children. We're not getting numbers. We're not getting little squares that are either going to build us up or build us down. We at Summit Park are going to meet the needs of the children no matter who they are, no matter where they're coming from. And I hope that the community out there that was maybe as hurt as I was, or maybe even on a more personal level, understand that those comments are there and they are meaningful to the people that wrote them, but there's plenty of people at Summit Park that do not feel that way. And I'm sorry, I have guilt and I wish I didn't, but I feel like that's why I need to speak so that people feel welcomed. We want whoever is coming to Summit Park to feel that they belong there. They are going to be part of our community. They're not coming to our community, they will be our community. And then my other question was, I was just wondering if this yellow piece, it's on a couple mats like B, these two yellow pieces, if there's anybody here that could say where their community really wants to be, where they feel comfortable, because to me that's a big difference in the maps. Thank you.
Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you, thank you. Does anybody else have anything you want to say before we break into our small working groups? All right, without further ado, we'll reconvene here in about 30 minutes and then proceed. Thank you, guys. Committee. Oh yeah, I'm on. We'll reconvene here in 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Okay. Let's see. Hey, Pat. All right, committee members, we good? We wrapping up our conversations? All right, per usual, can we have one or two of committee members from each group come up and discuss any of your discussions, some of the conversations you had? We'll start here with Red Group. Just
I need to go to the mic.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, and I'm telling you what choice I've chosen is a week.
No, you don't. You don't have to tell what choice you have chosen. Just kind of give your discussions, and you could, if you as a group did favor one option, you could feel free to discuss that and tell the rest of the committee. After you guys give your feedback over your small group discussions, then we'll jump into an option nomination exercise. Okay?
So when we began our discussion, one of the paramount issues that we wanted to figure out was whether the Scotts Branch niche right here would like to stay with Scotts Branch or if they wanted to move to Bedford. So one of the things we did was we reached out to the Scotts Branch person in another group and asked, and so the consensus was that they wanted to stay within their area, and it's just a small amount of kids in order to take a part of that new endeavor with their school when they get that new school in a couple years. And then we just looked at the parameters. We realized that option A was the only one that really gave Scotts Branch what they were looking for. We liked the fact in option A as well, so I guess we prefaced that. That was our preference. The majority of the Millbrook kids got to stay together, and only a small consensus was broken off from that group so that those kids felt like they knew someone when they went to the new school. So for us, just looking at the dynamics, that was the group that we preferred. That was the second.
Okay, great. Anybody have any questions for her or comments? Well done. All right, here, and we'll jump to the blue group. We can have somebody come up to the mic and you can just give a brief overview of some of your conversations, especially if there's anything new that another group hasn't said.
We don't really have anything new. We agreed. We went and we asked them during our discussions because we didn't have anybody from those areas at our table, so we were curious as to what those people in those areas would want. Would they want to stay at Bedford closest to them or travel all the way to Summit Park? And then we also asked about the little piece that was from Scotts Branch. Would they want to leave or would they want to stay? And it was stay, so we ended up with A also.
Indeed. All right, does anybody from the green group want to come up and highlight any of your discussions?
I have to move that down so low. So our choice was option D, although we are stressing that a few changes would be suggested. What we are thinking is, I'm probably pronouncing this street wrong. Is it Idlewood? Moving to Bedford. Maybe keeping this area with these children to go to Fort Garrison because they're all together at Millbrook. So perhaps moving them together to stay together and moving these two, and also not making them go all the way from this side of town all the way to here. And then moving this area from Fort Garrison down since it's much closer to the school.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for that group? Tia Bukhari, come to the mic for me, please.
I just want to advocate, as a principal of Millbrook, I don't get to vote, but if you look at D, it has our kids going to 4 different schools, and every other one has 3, so that's a little bit better. And option D does split up people going to yet another school. It's going to be a hard enough transition, so to throw another choice in there, just consider that.
Indeed. Thank you. All right, and can we have somebody from the yellow group just come up and kind of give an overview of your discussions. Nothing new to add at all? Did you guys have a favoring of a particular option that you want the rest of the committee to know by chance? Or there was no consensus? Same conversations? Okay. All right. Well, with that being said, there is an option that is proposed by this group. Is that correct? You're proposing a new option. All right. So with that being said, we are expected to proceed into an option nomination exercise. Now, it's up to you as a committee if you feel that you feel knowledgeable enough to go into an option nomination exercise with that proposed option without us running statistics. If you would rather have statistics for that proposed option before we go into this option nomination exercise and then eventually vote on a recommendation, we will have to conclude and come back on next Wednesday for a following meeting. Okay. So with that being said, what we can do is we can vote on if you as a committee feel comfortable moving forward with the option nomination and the recommendation tonight without running statistics on this new option. Do we have any objection to that? Anybody have any objection to that? Okay, with that being said, we'll hand out the active vote. This will be our first step. Is do we feel comfortable moving forward to an option nomination without running statistics on a new option? That will be our first voting process. And it'll simply be a yes or a no. Do you need the... we have a... Pat?
What was discussed before and why we wanted to have this vote. So far, all the options have been published. We've had statistics laid out, and they've been on the website, and the public has an opportunity to comment on them. If we vote tonight, and one of the options that that's being considered is one that just got created today, then you have not seen the statistics, and the public has not had an opportunity to look at it and send comments in. It's the committee's decision, but we thought that the best process would be to wait until next time so that everybody can see the statistics and the public has an opportunity to make comments for you all to see. But it's up to you to decide if that's necessary or if you just want to allow the vote on this extra option tonight and not next week. So what you're going to be voting on is this. You're going to say, yes, I want to be able to vote on this extra option tonight. That's what yes is. Where you say no, no is I want to wait till next week so we can see all the statistics and the public has a chance to look at comments.
Sorry, I think that was perfectly stated, so thank you so much. I just think that I'm just kind of confused why it would be majority tonight based on the committee without bringing it to the public, because I think you make a really good point. It's not fair to the public that isn't able to be a part of this committee, that can't speak up more to, I think from people that I've spoken with, they've made it clear that they want more options. And so I think the point of the survey was to be able to have the public speak and then make an option for the things that they're requesting. So I think it's only right to then utilize their responses to create then another option for them to vote on and for them to speak and see the statistics. So I think it's crazy that tonight we're gonna make a decision to not do that for the public.
I 100% get what you're saying, but if we look at the statistics that we have now, D was the least favored option. The least favored and the most opposed. And I am pretty sure that if we did this again, that's not going to change in a big or a paramount way. The options that we have at least 40 to 50%. So changing that just forestalls it, and I really don't see how the statistics are going to change where D jumps from the most disfavored to the most favored by the communities. I mean, I could be wrong, but I just don't see that happening.
Those are good points. And does anybody else have any comment on that before we proceed? So without further ado, you should vote A. On the back of your voter, you do have a number. So as you vote, do you have the chart up there? There'll be a chart here so you can see if once you vote, it'll turn orange, I believe. So you know that your vote has been casted. A, if you want to finish voting tonight without running the statistics for the public to consume. Or B, if you want to halt voting tonight, we come back on December 13th, next Wednesday, so that you do have an opportunity to review the statistics, and then we go through an option nomination and voting process next Wednesday. How many voting members do we have, Mike? How many voting members do we have? 16 voting members tonight. 16 voting members tonight. Just waiting for 2 voting members. Yes. It's not working? Can we get another one for? Oh, you gonna hand it to her? We're missing 7. So check the back of your active vote to make sure that your vote has been casted. Mm-hmm. Four? Oh, does somebody have a number 4 on their active vote? Oh, there it is. Yes. All right, so we have a 93%, 93.8% vote for yes to proceed with option nomination and the eventual voting on the recommendation tonight without running statistics on the proposed option. Again, that proposed option can and probably still will be nominated tonight. So you still have the opportunity to vote on that option without running the full disclosure of statistics. So for our option nomination, any single committee member can nominate an option. It doesn't need multiple committee members to nominate one. Very similar to the process we did with the public information session. It can be any of these current options or any of the previous published options or a proposed option as a committee member has proposed here tonight. Any words we're voting? Final meeting? There we go. No, we're not on that one. So with that being said, come to the mic and nominate an option. If another committee member nominates an option that's already nominated, you do not need to come to the mic to nominate that option. Again, there's no number of options that we can't. We're not going to limit you on how many options are nominated. So you can nominate as many options as you would like.
Adrian Hunt, I nominate options A, B, and C.
All right, options A, B, and C have been nominated to be voted on. Do we have any other options that any committee member would like to nominate tonight? No? All right, so it looks like we have options A, B, and C are the three options that have been nominated. Yeah, no problem. We're going to set up the voting process, so just give us a minute here. We'll get these options put up on the wall here. Now, of the three nominated options, you as a committee member, we have 16 voting members. Principals will not be voting. And of these three options, you're only going to be allowed to vote on one as a committee member. So out of three options, A, B, and C, you can only choose one. The majority option that is voted on here tonight of A, B, and C will be the one that is recommended to the board for approval. Do we have any questions? Yes, can you go to the mic? I know.
Is the expectation to only present a single option to the board?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So is it? It may be changed.
1, 2, and 3, not A, B, and C.
So will those be on the pads then? Because these are numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, these are letters.
Yeah. So.
A will be 1, B will be 2, and C will be 3. Is that correct, Mike? Yeah. I can explain it to him. Okay. So on your active vote, he's getting it set up here. So just. Okay. So on much easier. Hold on, Paul would like to say something, please.
All right, I just want to make sure no one has any questions about the process that we're undergoing. So the first vote we had was to decide if any option that someone wanted to present, a new option, needed to wait till next time to get statistical information. And you all voted no, in a sense, because yes, you wanted to be able to vote today on everything. So that means that if anybody wanted to present an option that's new, it would be voted on today. So if anyone, just to be clear, if anyone had an option that is new, that they want to nominate, they can do that now.
Indeed. So it looks like we have our three options that will be voted on for a recommendation here tonight. Option A on your active vote. If option A is your choice, choose A on your active vote. You're only allowed to choose one option here tonight. Yes. Okay. Yes. The recommended option must receive at least 51% of the vote. If of these three options, none of them get to that threshold of 51%, the lowest approved option of the three will be dropped, and then a new vote will then be considered for the remaining two options. So at this time, you are welcome to vote. Again, choose A for option A, B for option B, and C for option C. And feel free to go review the statistics. There's no rush here. You have the plots, you have your maps, you have the survey results. Take your time on your choice.
Pardon the interruption. Francis Foster, would you please meet your mom outside the main office?
All righty. Anybody want to change their vote? We have all the votes in now. We're good to go. All right, and the results are. Option A at 93.8%. Option B received 0% of votes, and option C received 6.3% of votes. So you as a committee are recommending option A to the board for final approval. The final decision on boundary changes is still made by the board, and they still have open opportunity to alter, and they will be reviewing all the past options that you guys have evaluated from September up till now. So looking at our next steps, one, thank you so much, committee members, for the job well done, the hard work, the commitment into this process. The priorities and the job and objectives is out of your hands at this point, so you can focus on the holidays and focus on your families and the kids that you're teaching and the schools that you're running. The objective and the hands are now in the board's hands. So the recommendation to the board is going to be scheduled on Tuesday, February 13th, 2024, 6:30 p.m. at the Greenwood Building. We also have a board hearing for the public to come and speak with the board about the recommended option or any of the past options or processes. That is scheduled on Wednesday, February 21st, 2024 at 6:30 at Pikesville High School. And a board's decision will be made on Tuesday, March 5th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. at the Greenwood Building. Committee attendance is not mandatory, although you are welcome to attend any of those events moving forward. And without further ado, do we have any questions, comments, feedback, anything that you would like to state?
I just wanted to say I'm thankful to have been a part of the process. I did learn a lot. I've been in the area about 5 years, I think, at least in Pikesville. So it was a good way for me to learn some things about the community. So I appreciate everyone's patience. I care about our children, and I hope that this will serve them well. So,
thank you. Does anybody else have any comments? So without further ado, again, we appreciate your commitment to the process. We hope you all have a great holidays, and definitely stay in tune with the rest of this process as it's now in the board's hands. Oh, Paul would like to say something.
I just want to say on behalf of Baltimore County Public Schools, I want to thank all of you for all your hard work, your commitment, you're showing up, you're doing this hard work, and I'm really pleased that we came up with a good solution. So thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Give yourselves a round of applause, you deserve it.